G'day everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Aussie Investing Machine here on the Wednesday night live stream. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Lots to talk about in this episode. There's been some big announcements in the buy now, pay later space, with CommBank announcing that they'll be bringing a buy now, pay later product to the market, which is a big thing for Australians and everyone involved in the buy now, pay later space. I think it's probably going to have some big impacts on Zip, hence they feature on the thumbnail of the video, but also Afterpay. I think it's something that definitely will affect both companies. So we'll dig into that shortly. I also wanted to talk about a company called ARB. If you don't know ARB, they're like a four-wheel drive accessory store. Now, they've had some really excellent performance over the past few years, and they're still seeing some really good sales growth. We're seeing strong performance out of the company. Their profits gone up a huge amount, and I think for them there's a massive opportunity in the market which they haven't yet capitalized on. So I wanted to talk about ARB as well. They're really the two key issues I wanted to chat about, probably at the start of the stream. And then, as always, I'm open to take any questions you might have. As always, this video is not financial advice, and none of the companies I talk about in this video are buy recommendations. It is just the facts that I'd like to present to you, and that's about all it is. However, I'm happy to take any of your questions and answer them as best as I can. So please, at any time, feel free to drop a comment and I will get to all of them. So always enjoy having a great chat with you guys and engaging with people who support the channel. So really enjoy that part of the live stream. So we'll get right into it shortly, say hello to everyone, and then we'll jump straight into it. I see BC there's left a comment. Hey BC, what's up? How's work going? Made any changes to the portfolio? So yeah, I think perhaps tomorrow. I think tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow I might make a purchase. I've spoken about the company that I'm interested in a couple of times now on the channel, and I think tomorrow's the time to buy. The technicals are aligning. I already know the company's one that I want to buy. I won't tell you what that is just yet because I might make a video on purchasing them, but if you've been following the channel, I think you could probably figure it out. Portfolio, definitely need to make an addition, so just being cautious because the market's pretty volatile at the moment, so just waiting on that. How's work going? Yeah, work's busy as always. I'm doing a little bit of study on the side as well at the moment, and that's taking up quite a lot of time, as you can imagine. So I'm sure you would have noticed, probably drop back to just one video a week at the moment. That's about all I can do, plus the live stream. I hope that's okay, and I hope it is entertaining enough for you, but I do appreciate your support. Put up a video yesterday about Chamath and some of his SPACs, so if you'd like to check that out, I'd really appreciate it. Help the video get some traction. Leave it a like, give it a comment, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Put out a video every week. I'm doing a weekly live stream as well about all things investing, talking a lot about Australian stocks, but also about US stocks as well. Krez, good to see you here, mate, as well. Good evening to you. Hope everyone's having a good week. I might jump into the presentation I've put together. We'll run through Zip first, I think. Some interesting things there. So let's do that. I'll just share my screen. Bear with me. Pick the right window. Might actually talk a little bit about the portfolio as well, so let's do that. You can see here on the self-worth portfolio, no additions, as I said. Probably tomorrow will be a purchase day for me, so let's have a look. Beach Energy is still my top performer. Put it, sort it by performance, and then ETF Goodman. Thankfully, PushPay is starting to recover. It's only 3% down now. So, as I've mentioned before, great company. I really have a lot of conviction about PushPay, and I think they will pull through, and it seems they are at the moment. Kogan's still worse hit, not much movement with them. Again, I think they'll pull back as well as Northern Star. They're both excellent companies. I know they're at the bottom of the portfolio at the moment, but I believe they will bounce back. Similar with PointsBet. Let's jump straight into the presentation, get things started. So Livestream number 16. Doesn't feel like I've done 16 live streams. It really is going quickly. Time flies, as we know. Let's talk about Zip. So Zip and Afterpay have both experienced a pretty big drop off in their share price. Now, I was personally considering buying into Afterpay in particular at like 140, 150. And now we're down at 110, and it seems to be stabilizing around that point. A lot of analysts are saying that they're still about 60% overvalued. Whether that's true or not, I'm not sure. Definitely based on their sales volume and the increases they've seen in their sales, they are outperforming pretty much every other Australian company in that regard. So that would suggest that they're not overvalued. However, we're seeing competition heating up all over the place, both internationally with the likes of PayPal, and now locally we're seeing a bit of a challenge as well. So the recent news is that the Commonwealth Bank has announced its own in-house buy now, pay later product for its account holders. This, I believe, may continue to put downward pressure on the share price of companies like Zip and Afterpay. It's not a direct competitor because there are some caveats about the service they offer. We'll get into those shortly. Now, we know CommBank has already partnered with and is also a part owner of Swedish buy now, pay later firm Klarna, yet another competitor. However, this is a separate offering to account holders with a regular salary coming into their everyday account. So I guess that is security for the bank. They know your financial activity because I guess they manage your finances in the sense that they hold your money. So they have a very good sense of your financial track record, and it's a lot easier for them to understand who is a customer who's likely to pay back debt. That's why they're able to offer this service. So we know CommBank has a firm grip on the youth market in Australia. Now, this is a big deal. CommBank has a lot of programs they run for schools, financial education, for young kids as young as primary school. They get involved at a public school level. Now, this allows them to get great infiltration into the junior money market, I guess. And people who open a CommBank account as a kid, maybe they've got a kid's savings account, which they can put, birthday money into, or as they get a first job. A lot of kids end up having a CommBank account from the outset. It's just a trend in Australia. Now, you might be thinking, what does this mean? We know that Afterpay and Zip, their customers are young. They're young Australians who typically haven't had, well, not just Australians, but in the Australian context, they're young Australians who typically haven't had a credit card and don't really want one. It's a convenient service because there's no fees, and it's a simple pay in equal installments. So the CommBank product mirrors this in the repayment sense. And we know that it's easy to access. If you've got a CommBank account, you're starting to earn a salary, you can go right ahead and use their service. So pretty compelling. There's no additional app to download. There's nothing to sign up to, and I need to check, but probably the way this will work is if the bank believes that you're suitable for the product, you'll get a notification or the like saying, hey, you can use this if you like for your next purchase. So looking into more detail about their offering, one of the major points I feel is that merchants aren't charged any additional fees. We know Afterpay and Zip, their fees are quite high for merchants, and they can justify this because conversion rates for merchants go up so much when they implement these products, because it allows customers to buy things that they otherwise couldn't without a debt facility. It works, the CommBank product works wherever a MasterCard is accepted, which is pretty much any vendor. That's a big bonus. There's nothing more to do. It's 4 fortnightly installments, same as Afterpay, and there's a $1,000 limit. I think Zip allows larger limits. Someone might be able to correct me in the comments or give me, if anyone knows what the limits are for Zip and Afterpay, please let me know. But I think it depends on your financial history as well and some background checks. So a UBS analyst, Tom Beadle, warned that Afterpay's high merchant fees, its main source of income, will be challenged by Commonwealth Bank's much cheaper offering. It's a good point, something I sort of touched on. That the fee is big for CommBank, and if they can undercut Zip and Afterpay in that regard, that's one competitive advantage that the CommBank app has that Afterpay doesn't. UBS also cautioned that the rules preventing merchants from passing on buy now pay later surcharges may soon be changed. Now, UBS, being a large firm, should be up to date with regulation and upcoming legislation around the buy now pay later segment. That's a pretty major statement. We haven't seen a lot of regulation to date. They've been deemed not a credit facility, and that exempts companies like Afterpay from a lot of the hoops that a typical credit card provider would need to jump through. And they mentioned this would be to the detriment of Afterpay and to a lesser extent Zip because of the fee structure. So massive point there. I'm really interested to know what you think. If you've been interested in Afterpay, have you bought the dip? And after news like this, do you still think Afterpay is as strong as it was, or has the correction in their share price turned you off? Be really keen to know your thoughts. I'll just jump over to the comments and see what people are saying. Lindo, thanks for joining. Cheers for the comment. Hey mate, cheers for the stream and covering the buy now pay later action lately. I've just got off the ticker waitlist. How do you use the platform and what do you find useful? Let me have a look at ticker. Ticker, Invest the Wall Street Way. Okay, interesting. So this is like an analysis tool, I guess. The ones I know about are companies like Stock Doctor and the like. So financial data, idea generation tools. Yeah, looks pretty cool. Look, I'm not going to lie, I don't know a lot about ticker. This looks pretty cool though, so maybe it's something I'll need to do some research in. There's obviously a wait list, and you're off the wait list. So I'd love to know your thoughts on it. If you've started using it, and is it something I should check out on the channel? Let me know. Certainly something new I haven't heard of before. So yeah, that'd be great. You're also mentioning that you're still bullish on Afterpay. That's despite some of the competition that we're sort of experiencing at the moment. Interesting. I'm on the fence. I think their sales growth is excellent, but I'm just not ready to jump in there. I'd like to see a bit of momentum return, perhaps to the share price before jumping in. At the moment, it's looking pretty stagnant. If we have a look at Afterpay's share price, yeah, so it's not at its lowest. Its lowest was down at 111, but it's just bobbling along. I'd like to know, perhaps on Yahoo we could see what the movements are. So it's nowhere near its moving average, which is good, but the stochastics are indicating that it might be bottoming, but not yet. And the MACD is indicating that still in oversold conditions. So perhaps the sell down still not done. If you're looking for a perfect buying opportunity, you'd be waiting for the price to cross the moving average, which at the moment is 84, but it's rising. So it could be around 90. Could be a good target if you're really waiting for an area like this, which we can see when it crossed below $38. Wouldn't that have been nice? Oh, what is that? Not quite. sort of in that region, 29.30. That was a great buying opportunity when they came back up through, and that's probably what I'd be looking for again. I'm happy to let this play out and see before putting any money into Afterpay. It's just my take, but if you're still bullish, yeah, tell me your reasons. Obviously, I can see why you would be with this super strong sales performance. So let's jump into the next company, which is ARB. So I mentioned earlier, ARB is a 4x4 accessories company, massive in Australia, but also really big in the US. I've been watching a few videos on YouTube about like modified four-wheel drives. I'm kind of keen to get myself like an old Land Rover, like $5,000 or something, and just have it as a bush bashing car. And that's sidetracking a bit, but what I've noticed is that on the US videos with Toyotas or Land Rovers, a lot of the high quality accessories that are going on these cars, whether it's bull bars or roof racks or canopies even, they're all ARB products, and ARB is an Australian company. And an Australian product to do well in the US is rare, and when they do well. So another example of this, not in the same line of products, but James Hardie, for example, is a building materials manufacturer, and they're doing really well in the US. And my James Hardie shares, which I've got in a separate portfolio, are up 100%, over 100%. They're a super strong company. Probably doesn't have the ideal fundamentals. They're good, but they really capitalize on US growth. So it shows you what's possible if you can do well in the US. And I think ARB is another example of that. So their profit before tax was 72 mil for half year 21. And this equated to a jump of 109% relative to their prior corresponding period in 2020. Sales were also up 20%, which is awesome. 15% increase would indicate a growth stock. Over 20% is really good, and that's in all regions of the business. And this is despite a 3.4% decline in the sales of new vehicles in the target market. So this is utes, trucks, four-wheel drives. Sales down for the cars, but sales up for their products. I think that shows a lot of strength. Don't know what you think, but yeah, usually if the broader market goes down, you'd expect the suppliers to that market to also fall, but we're not seeing this with ARB, and I think that's a great indicator of strength. Now, this slide sort of talks about what I think is probably the biggest positive for ARB. When you go to their website, it's pretty good. It's a nice website, and you can easily search for your vehicle and find accessories for that vehicle very easily, and it's a great, well put together website, but you can't buy anything from it. There's a price list you can download to get an indication of what the product might cost, but I'm pretty sure you've got to go to an ARB store, an actual dealership, and I think a lot of that's due to the fact that most of their kit should be, or usually is, professionally fitted, and ARB do the fitments, so it's another component of the business. But as we all know, and especially through 2020, people want to do things at home. People like DIY, and we're seeing that with other part stores like Sparesbox. I'm not sure if you've heard of that, but Sparesbox is an online car part store doing really well, and ARB is just not capitalizing on this at all at the moment, and I really think they could. A lot of their products are too big to ship, but a lot of them could be shipped. So even if it's click and collect, we know that's possible. So if you go on ARB's website, there's a great interface, but you can't buy anything. And as I said, I think it's a huge opportunity. That's that aside. I think that's a great point of growth for the business, but I haven't seen any leaders of the business talk about actually implementing that. So it's a bit of a pipe dream for me, really, about ARB. If I saw an announcement about that, I would 100% jump on this company. Just sidetrack and have a quick look at their stock price for a moment. I just want to show you that movement that they've had. So you can see here over the past year, it's been really steady growth, and they sort of hit this growth curve back in, well, that's pandemic there, but back here, yeah, sort of at the start of 2020, they've just seen some incredible growth. You know, you could have bought them for a low at $16. You've almost tripled your money, well, doubled your money. It's a really fantastic result. So strong price growth. Obviously, over the maximum period of time, it's actually vertical movement we've seen over the past year. And I think a lot of this is to do with people getting out of the city, people needing to holiday at home or in their country. So people aren't spending on overseas trips, overseas holidays, and a trip to Europe might cost, it's $2,000 for flights, let alone accommodation and traveling around. Might be spending $5,000. Well, if you've got a 4-wheel drive, you spend $5,000 on ARB parts. You can go anywhere. You can camp. You can do whatever. So I think that's probably where a lot of this growth is coming from, and it's people with excess cash putting it into their toys at home, in being their 4-wheel drives. So great price growth. Just jump back to this last slide. So the US, which we talked about earlier, being a great target market, it represents over 34% of its sales. So it's a really strong component. You can see that here in this chart. So the Australian aftermarket is 60%, exports 34%. So look, that's probably not quite accurate. I'll clarify that. That's exports to any country, not necessarily the US, but I believe the US is the major component of that. They also have a good dividend payout, which has been steadily increasing. They've chopped it a bit in 2021, or that might just be the interim payment. Need to clarify that, but they have lowered their payout ratio of their dividend in order to invest more in the company. And their payout ratio is really low. It's in the 40%, and that demonstrates a lot of headroom that the company has in order to increase their dividend in the future. So that's another positive. I'd like to hear your comments. I'll jump over to the comments. BC, just back on Afterpay, still bullish on Afterpay, not on Zip. Tell me a little bit more about that. I'd be interested in your reasoning. Let me know. My bad thought. You directed me to ticker, so I get a few ideas from you, mate. Not me, unfortunately. I'd like to claim it, but I can't. I'll check it out and give you a verdict next stream. Yeah, look, do that, and if it's good, I'll 100% jump on a video about that. I think that'd be cool. Looks cool. Kraz Zip limit is 1K. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. And is that the same for Afterpay? Do you know? Let me know in another comment. Buy now, pay later is too volatile for me. How are you, Bob? By the way, thanks for joining the stream. Pulled out last month. Big bang starting to move. 100%. Yeah, means I won't be going back. Maybe IOU is a more safe bet given the focus on the Asian market. Yeah, lots of room for expansion there, and it's probably not as heavily targeted by Afterpay or Zip. So, yeah, interesting point, Bob. Lindo, ARB looks great, but my concern is what happens when borders begin to open. I feel like many people experience an increase in disposable income and have been buying used car mods. Look, agree with you, but as we noted on their price chart, maybe we can go back to that. Try and blow this up a bit. That's the max. That's from 2009. They've had at $3 in March 2009. They've had steady, consistent growth, and even quite a good little lift here up until 2018, where there was a market crash here, bit of a correction in the price, grew again, and then, of course, we hit the conditions you're talking about, and we've had a massive surge. So if you extrapolate this line and draw a linear line, the price probably should be around $26, so it might be a bit overinflated at the moment. We've seen a correction, small correction. Maybe that's too expensive for ARB. I agree with you in that regard. It could be overinflated because of the conditions. Something to consider, and maybe it's a company to get in at the right price and the right price only. Good point. Look, I'm not investing or currently invested in ARB, but they're certainly on the watch list. I mean, if you got them down here at $13, it would have been incredible. So, Krez, so that's the limit, the $1,000 limit, Afterpay as well. Yeah, so look, that's my that's my wrap, I think, for this live stream. If you've got any more questions, let me know now. Otherwise, I think I might wrap this one up. It's been great chatting with you all once again. I had fun researching those two companies. I hadn't done a lot of digging into ARB. It's certainly one that's on the long-term watch list, waiting for a good entry point, I think. But I'm still not. I don't have the conviction for buy now, pay later. I don't think. I'm still nervous. But I'll watch the Zip and Afterpay price movement. I mean, let's have a look where Zip's sitting. Zip. Yeah, so it's very similar sort of thing. But they've had some straight line movement, you know, a real big boost up to 12. So it's not as bad as Afterpay, I'd argue. Oh, it's similar. Yeah. Yep, interesting. But yeah, I think for now I'm just waiting. Watching and waiting. Yes. ARB added to the watch list. Appreciate the review. Yep, no worries. Yes, 44 Dagger. Massive news, actually. Should have put this one on the thumbnail. I saw that. Wow, what a hit to the company. BrainChip CEO. Look, it said he's gone to pursue other opportunities, but he also had his contract terminated. So it's not. You might be right that he's fired. I think that contractually is what happened, but it's pretty messy. BrainChip had a huge amount of positive news, and now that's a massive announcement. See what's happened to their stock price. It's actually gone up. Surprising. It's been steady, yeah. So be interesting to hear some reasoning from the company. I don't actually know why they fired him and whether or not they've released any news about that. Maybe an insider would be able to tell you. If anyone does know, yeah, that would be interesting. You're saying that he's getting severance? Yeah, I understand he's working for the next 12 months to assist a new CEO to come in. But yeah, pretty grim for the company. It's not a great thing for BrainChip, I don't think. They've done so well with their NASA deal. That's great. And if NASA finds their technology useful, I think there's a major commercial contract in the works for them. Mona, my thoughts on DTC. Let's have a look. DTC, Damstra. I'm not familiar with Damstra. See if we can get a quick rundown of Damstra. Integrated workplace management. Hardware and software. Okay, what draws you to Damstra? I see they're sort of sliding a little bit this year. Is there anything in particular that you like about the company? Let me know, and it might be a topic for a future video. And WSP. Let's have a look at WSP. Whisper. Okay, interesting. Sort of flatlining over the past year. Again, if you've got any things about Whisper that you really like, or reasons that I should be looking into it, let me know. Probably don't have the time in this live stream to dive in, but yeah, absolutely leave me a comment in after the video is published and with your thoughts, and I'll definitely have a look at the company if it's something that seems to be interesting. So this is back on BrainChip CEO. I think he's gotten Brain from concept to silicon, but now they need a big business CEO. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. It can be a great thing to keep founders around because they've been on the journey, but yeah, harsh reality of business sometimes, I guess. Praveen, thanks for joining on the live stream. Praveen, thanks for dropping a comment. Any chances of new collaborations? No news, I don't think. We can check quickly. Let's have a look. Excuse my typing. Just check their announcements on Market Index. Yeah, leadership change, annual report, but nothing since their Akita license agreement, which was with a company in the US called Renesas Electronics. Yeah, so nothing since then, Praveen, but certainly we'll be watching for any further announcements on BrainChip. And lithium miners, AVZ, future hopes for the EV boom. Yeah, lithium miners pretty saturated at the moment, but let's have a look. AVZ, yeah, bit of a penny stock. I'm not familiar with all of them. I do know that Vulcan is coming down to a reasonable price now. That is for sure. Another drop today. Lots of people buying in, on this upward rise. Sort of had a correction, is now sort of stabilizing. So I like Vulcan in the lithium space because of their dual purpose and the fact that they can produce green lithium. I think that's a big pro for the company. I think it's a really strong suit for them, especially in Europe. We know what European regulations are like, so that would be my pick of the lithium bunch. But if you have a look at the last live stream, we talked about Pilbara Minerals. Check that out and let me know your thoughts. Maybe drop me a comment on that one. I think I might wrap this up, guys. It's been great having a chat to you all. Really enjoy doing these live streams as always. If you're new to the channel, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe for weekly content. Mentioned earlier in the live stream that under a bit of pressure with work and a bit of study at the moment, so I'm back down to about one video a week. Can't really get many more than that out at the moment, but I will return in the future with a few more videos per week. So thanks for the support, everyone, and thanks for all your comments tonight. It's been great chatting with you, and I think I'll catch you in the next live stream. Cheers, Lindo. Thanks for all your comments. It's been great. Cheers, 44 Daggers. Good to see you. That's all good, mate. I'll catch you next Wednesday for the live stream, and look out for a video on the weekend. Thanks, Praveen. Thanks for joining. All right. Good night, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of the week, and I will see you next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Cheers, guys.